using your brain.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes that's hard.
A little bit.
Okay. Okay. So I think we're streaming. I've just got to, oh, it's like almost set up. I always take a second to post the link everywhere. So I'm going to do that now and make sure I have the video up so that I can watch comments.
Oh, yes. I didn't realize that Zoom could go live. That's very fun.
Yeah, I had been using what's it called? Like Streamlabs, I think, but it
Mm,
was very expensive monthly. And like it was pretty, but it was hard to have guests on and stuff because I had this whole
right.
like cool background and then I'd have to center people on Discord and everything and it was a whole problem. So I just thought I'll try Zoom and it's pretty good. It's nice and simple.
Yeah. I usually do StreamYard because it just
Okay.
hooks right in.
Yeah, I'd seen that one, but for some reason when I looked at it before, I was confused. I don't know what was confusing, but maybe I'll go and
That's valid.
look at it again. Sometimes technology eludes me.
So valid. Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay, I'm almost finished posting all the links. Alrighty. Okay. So, we have three people watching. Hello.
Woo!
I see Sam. Welcome, Sam. Thanks for joining us.
I should share too, I guess. Let's do
And yeah, no
that.
worries if you can't stay long. It's always nice to have people drop in, even if it's just for a short time.
Yeah.
And apologies for the slightly late start. We were troubleshooting, but we
Ugh.
are here now.
Technology, that's about it. That's
Yeah,
the
that's it.
statement.
That's all you need to say.
Okay.
Sometimes you just want to stay in the books. I'd rather just do that.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't have a book background. I have some records. The books are in another room, but I promise there are many.
Yes. Oh my God. It works so well as a Zoom background. My mom
Yeah.
the other day was over because my chair has been wrecking my floor. And she
Oh
was like,
no.
"Why don't you like move your desk?" I'm like, "No. This background is my favorite.
This is the only space.
This is it."
Oh, hello to Sheraton and Red. Red, it's nice to see you. It's been a while. I hope you're doing well. And so we've got some Stygian authors hanging out here.
I love it.
Yeah, got the crew stopping by. So
All right.
I guess since we oh, and there's Pay working on something. Well, that's good. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be sprinting. So
Whoop.
sprinting and talking. So if you want to work and join in on the sprints, you are welcome to do so. Since we've got a few people here, Jen, did you want to sort of introduce yourself to the channel?
Sure. I'm Jen. I go by Jen. My name is actually Jenna, but it's fine.
Would you
It's
prefer
one letter
Jenna?
less. It's no, I prefer Jen, which is
Okay,
why I go by Jen everywhere. It's one letter
okay.
less. But yeah, I am very chronic on the internet, under many different names, I guess, because I was realizing that this past week with the Storyteller's Hearth, because people were trying to tag me and they were trying to tag my old URL on Instagram, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I have different names everywhere.
Oh no.
It's just different everywhere. But yes, on Instagram, it's author J.A. Collignon. I won't tell you how to spell my last name, it's ridiculous. On here, it's Jen's Bookshelf. And on Twitter, I think it's Bookshelf Jen. And on TikTok, it's also Jen's Bookshelf. It's a lot, but I'm here and I'm an author, which is great. My first book comes out May 11th.
Ooh,
Yeah.
exciting. And you also have a story in the Stygian collection for anyone who's following with
Yes.
that.
Which is not my usual like genre that I write in, but it was fun because I had originally written that story back in university
Okay.
when we did there was like a undergrad run anthology as well, kind of like it was
Hmm.
called the Arch Tribune, and um, we ran it as well, and I submitted a story to it, and I took that story and I rewrote it because it was bad. It was bad. I was looking at it and I was like, ooh, this is fun to see how much my writing has changed, but also it needs to change.
It's always an experience.
Mhm.
But yeah, I really like what you submitted and I can't wait for people to be able to read it. So
It's a little not seasonal for June, but it's seasonal for Winnipeg, which is where I am.
exactly. Yes, and by the way, for anyone who knows about my hometown, we're from the same place. I'm no longer there, but Jen is still in
Still
the
there.
frozen tundra.
Ugh. Well, here it's still gross. Well, actually, today is not bad. It's only -1.
Okay.
-1 and
We're
sunny. So,
we're going up to 12 here, but it's
oh,
raining. But I
the
think I'm gonna try to
atmosphere.
get outside later anyway, even in the rain, because I like it.
Yeah, it's atmospheric. It works.
Exactly. Stephen Corey says hi to Sam, and then oh, you had an eye exam this morning. Yikes.
Woo.
Those are the worst with the pupils dilated. I had that a couple times. I hated it. And oh, Sheraton is asking what genre you normally write in, Jen.
I do fantasy. Fantasy is my favorite. My book coming out in May is a cozy fantasy, so it's like Legends and Lattes, which is facing out here, much like that. And it's exciting. I love fantasy. Everything has to have a little bit of magic, which is kind of funny that my story in the collection is a little bit
Yeah,
supernatural, just because of that. I just like everything needs magic. It's got to
that
be fun.
that's like me too. I understand. Even if I sort of set out with something else, it winds up getting in there. I can't help it. Like
Yeah, real life
my
is lame. We
yeah,
gotta make it more
that's true.
magical.
We don't need more reality.
Agreed.
Uh, for Camp WriMo, I'm doing a dark academia, and actually
Ooh.
Pay and I were watching the Dead Poets Society last night because I wanted to refresh on that, and it's good. And I mean, that one doesn't have magic in it, but as I'm working on mine involves body snatchers and Montreal history because I don't want to give too much away, and I've even had my editor say, "Don't tell people all about this," so I won't. But if you think about like medical students body snatching in like
Mm.
a big university. That's sort of the hook,
Ooh,
which
that's
has
really
enough
cool.
to it already, right? But
Yeah.
I'm already thinking, what can I bring in here that's like, rituals and magic and stuff like that? And I don't know if
I'm
I'm gonna let myself or not.
You should, because I'm
Yeah.
sure that Montreal has a lot of, well, it's old, right? So it's got a
Yes.
lot of history there, especially with
Yeah.
ghosts and stuff. I went to Montreal as a kid,
Okay.
and we went on one of the ghost tours, and it was fun. But yeah, there's so much there.
My other channel is for Haunted Montreal. It's a
Mm.
tourism, I think you've seen it, yeah, tourism agency here, and they do ghost walks. So I
Oh,
tell the stories on YouTube in video form, and that's actually what inspired this story because I was reading so much of it. I'm like, I'm in this city, I should do something here. I think it's going to be a really cool thing. Oh,
yeah. Oh, that's so cool. There's so
yeah.
much there. That's really cool.
Sheraton, reality? What's that? Is that a thing people do?
It's like that one TikTok sound that's like, why do you like fantasy so much? And it's like, listen, reality doesn't have dragons. Like, come on.
Exactly. I can't cast magic in real life. Like I can't do spells. What I need to do that. Need to do that somewhere.
Yes.
Oh, hey Ian. Ian said the story does sound cool. Down for ghost stories. Yes.
Yes. Those stories are always really fun.
So, since we had promised to sprint, I figure we'll just do kind of chill sprints. We can do a couple
Sure.
like 15-minute and then maybe wrap it up with a half hour at the end, unless you prefer shorter
Sure.
ones. Yeah.
That works for
Okay.
me.
I do have a timer on Zoom. I've never used it before because I like to be able to display it. I feel like the first couple times I did this, I was timing on my phone and then letting people know, and it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm gonna see if I can set this and if it'll actually work.
I think
Hopefully it
also if it
will.
doesn't work through Zoom, you can probably bring one up on like Google and then share your
True.
screen.
That's true. That's true.
But
So I'm display timer in video. Okay. Well, we'll say that if are you ready to sprint? Are you ready to work on some stuff?
sure,
Yeah.
I got my
Okay.
got my computer here.
Excellent. I also have a music app. I don't know if that's going to work. So let's do a soft start and then I'll reset it. And let's just see if both of these things work. We'll do a quick test. So
Sounds
if I
good.
start this, okay,
Oh,
I
it
think
does work.
that's,
It's in the
yeah.
little corner.
Okay, and let's just see if this music works. Because I was trying the music earlier. Oh, I can hear it now.
Oh, yeah, it does
You hear it?
work. Yeah.
Okay, all right, this is
Very
good.
fun.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to restart our timer then, now that we know this works. How
Now
is
that
the
we,
technology is
well,
working? Wait, what?
oh my God, it's making up for the atrocity that I made when we came in.
Let's not curse it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna do a 15-minute sprint, everyone. So get ready. Oh yeah, happy first day of camp.
Yes.
I'm very excited to
Forgot
work on
that
this
that was a
project.
thing. Last night I was like, oh yeah, oh no, it's Camp Nano tomorrow.
Yeah. Always a good day when everything works. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Without further ado, let's start this timer.
Let's do her.
Our timer's up.
That's such a pleasant sound.
Yeah. I was wondering how that would go. It was I didn't know if it would like buzz or something, but yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, pleasant little.
Yeah,
I love it.
not too interrupting. It's like it knew we were writing.
hmm
How many words did you get in?
Barely any. I was just rereading the project because it's been a while since I've looked at it, but I was going through and like kind of editing, so it ended up being like null and void for words added.
I find that usually happens on the first like one or two sprints in a session. Always get
Yeah,
like distracted or go back and stuff you've already done. It's like, oh well.
yeah, and it's because I haven't actually looked at this in a little while.
Hmm.
It's a couple months now, so I have to remind myself where I was.
Yeah, yeah.
But how many did you
I
get done?
like 100, 101. I'm working on a timeline right now, so it's
Hmm.
mostly just like reading and then adding notes. I think camp is pretty much going to be study WriMo for me through this month since
It works.
yeah, since I'm trying to bring a lot of history into this next book, so I want to get all my timelines right, and I haven't picked the specific era yet because there's
Oh,
a whole bunch of events that I want to include, but they span from like 1800 to 1900. So yeah, I have to find like the best chunk in there that I'm going to use.
yeah. And then you could almost like I guess if you do enough in the future, you could do a look back at the other ones as well, or they
Hmm.
have some kind of influence into the new ones if you
That's what
want
I was, yeah,
to.
I no, I was thinking that, and I just thought, "Ugh, everything I start writing winds up turning into a series." And at this rate, it's just gonna be,
Same.
yeah, I'm gonna do something for like this whole time period, just like multiple stories through the years.
That'd be really fun though to dabble in
It
all those
would.
stories over the years.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm doing book two for camp. I'm hoping that I can get it done.
Yeah.
Probably won't, but I'm just like, please let me get this draft done at the end of April. Please. I'm like 30K into it and I don't know how long
Okay.
it's gonna be. So I'm just like, please, please.
How much have you planned? Do you at least have like a outline and a conclusion
Yeah,
idea? Yeah.
yeah. I originally wrote this for NaNoWriMo last year, but
Okay.
I got to about the 60,000 word mark and died because I was like, no, November is such a bad time for mental health, and it's the end of the year. I'm so burnt out on anything, so I'm just like, I'm just gonna leave it. And so I
Hmm.
did, but I had everything basically planned. So now I'm just going back in and making the story better because it
Okay.
was a hot mess. Holy man. So draft 1.5, we're making it better and then actually finishing it.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, that's perfect for camp.
Yes.
My last, well, actually, I did kind of Rebel Rimo last time. I'm losing track now. I'm like, what did I do every time? I did,
It's time is a soup, it's fine.
yeah. So I did Rebel Rimo and then I did my first camp last year in July. And for both of those, I sat down and I just made myself finally finish the projects I'd been working on since I was like 13 years old. Because I
Oh
was
my
like, this is
goodness.
ridiculous.
I need to
Just,
finish.
yeah, like one of those things where you just come back to it every couple years and you have to rewrite it because you've changed so much. So you just like are
Yeah.
rewriting and rewriting and it's just
Yeah.
like what's the word, like purgatory. So I thought that I have to just sit down and do this before I change in some big way again, and at least I'll have the draft finished.
Yeah, have it done
Oh,
before I decide to put it down again.
yeah, before I'm like 70 years old, that would be
Oh
good.
my God. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I kind of did Rebel Rimo last in November because I was like, I want to try do my 70,000 words in 30 days challenge, which I had done in June of last year
Mm.
to write my cozy fantasy that's coming out in May. And it worked really well in June. It did not in November. And I was just
Mm.
like, at the end of it, I was like, please, nobody let me do this challenge again, ever, because it just wrecks me.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
Ugh.
50,000 is enough for me, I find. But
Yeah,
and November, like you said about just sort of being at the end of the year and stuff, it's such a toss up because either it's gonna bring you back to life or
yep,
it's gonna just be like the final nail in your coffin. You just don't know which you're gonna get until you start
yep.
writing.
Especially right before the holidays, at the end of the
Yeah.
year, it's too much. I think NaNoWriMo is in the worst spot it could be, but it's also in the best spot it could be because it's like the last hurrah. And I'm just like, no.
That's That's the thing. It's like it's such a good month to sort of have something to do
Hmm.
and to sort of get your energy back if you can, and then take a break through December. But yeah,
Yeah,
if it doesn't work, it's brutal.
it's br- it's
Um,
it's a brutal month. Holy man.
yeah.
But that's
Oh,
okay. It's still fun.
Sheraton said that they also barely wrote research. Yeah, it's the first sprint.
It happens.
It's the way it goes. But we'll get a couple more in. I think you're good here till 3 year time. I'm thinking
Oh yeah,
Winnipeg time.
I'm good.
Yeah, okay, okay.
I'm good till whenever.
Awesome, that works. Yeah, so we can do another 15-minute, I guess. So we get a few more of these in. Anyone else who is writing, let us know how you're doing. Sorry, I want to remember to check in and not just get in our
Not just
conversation here.
talk.
So
Yeah.
you're writing with us. How's your writing going? What are you working on? I um I also wanted to hear at some point about Amy's book, Shade of the
Yes.
Shadowlands. That sounds cool.
It's her. I'll pitch it for her.
Okay.
It's her sequel. She has her first one, which is called Guardians of the Sixth Gate. It's way up there on my shelves, and it's Shade of the Shadowlands is a sequel, and then she's also coming out with the third one later this year as well. So she's just churning them out like
Okay,
crazy.
awesome.
So much work. It is it's a YA fantasy romance. It's like urban fantasy with like touches of Greek mythology in it.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's
I
very
like
cool.
that. I'll have to check it out.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for telling. And anyone else who likes that genre, definitely check it out. Okay. All right, so 15 minutes again. Let's see if we
Woo!
can get more of a count in.
Let's see if I can actually do some work today.
Yes, gotta get something done.
Gotta
It's the
get
first day.
something.
Something. Okay. So if everyone is ready, we are going to start another 15-minute sprint.
Woo!
It's good timing with the music.
That was really good
It's just
time.
like do do do.
Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. My mom has really, really uncanny ability and fantastic timing. She always calls me like when either I'm like in the middle of a shower or on a call at work or in the middle of a stream like this. Like she just has
Oh no.
uncanny timing. It's wild.
Oh
She just
no.
carved up 10 minutes of that. Ugh. Surely
I
to
think
tell me an April Fool's joke. And I was like, Mom,
oh, oh no. It's
she
like
got me too. She was like, yeah, we're going up to this town nearby our cabin and we hit another deer. And I was like, oh my God, are you guys okay? And she's like, yeah, we're fine. And I'm like, and she was like, oh, but it wasn't my vehicle. It was your father's vehicle. I'm like, oh, is this car okay? And she goes, no. And I'm like, oh my God, Mom, are you good? Like, you sound like the world is ending. And she goes, oh, what day is it? And I was like, I don't know, like April 1st. And then I just sat there and I was like, you? And she just laughed. And I'm like, oh my God. Because they've hit a deer before, because of course, or actually, I
Mhm.
think the deer hit them. It was one of those like,
Just
yep,
ugh.
on the highway. And so I was like, totally like, oh my God, it's dangerous to hit a deer. That's not something to joke about, Mom. Uh.
That's the best way to prank someone though, to use that element of truth to it to to really get them.
Yeah.
So not only does she get to prank you that way, she gets to mess up your writing count too.
Yes. Oh my God. I only got 137 words that time because my mom.
That's more than me actually. I think I got like 93. It's still
It's
slow.
still working though.
Yes, it's still something. So yeah, Ian said spooky timing with the music.
Yeah.
And Amy finished with chapter 1 and on to chapter 2. Excellent. Sounds like you're
Incredible.
doing much better than me. Think I'm probably going to after this stream take a little break outside and then get back to writing, and then maybe it'll kick in more.
Maybe. Yeah, you need the inspiration of the rain.
Yeah, exactly. Although it looks like it might be getting sunnier now.
No.
No,
No,
missing
I
my
like
pretty
the
gray
spooky
day.
vibes. Keep the
Yeah,
spooky
I like the gray day.
vibes.
I even put out on the Haunted Montreal message a thing about like, oh, are you enjoying this gray, rainy day?
I love it.
Yeah. Oh,
Bright and
hello
sunny
from
here.
Micaiah. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Says hello from Jasper, Georgia. Hello.
Wow. Welcome to the Canadian stream.
Yes. And
That's so
Sheraton,
funny.
120 words this time. Excellent.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm almost finished my timeline. I thought I was completely
Mm,
finished it, but then I started going through more Haunted Montreal articles and just trying to find other things that might fit in. And now I'm into like the creation of the Lachine Canal and like,
yeah, research and world building, they're like equal rabbit holes, you know?
yeah,
You can just right into it.
yeah. That's why when Devil's Air who's chatting when they were saying about how oh like I'm an overthinker and I like world building like well those things go very well together.
They really do. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I have to stop myself. I think I took um God, when was it? Probably 2020. I went through a lot of content in 2020 because I didn't have like a full-time job. So I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, let's just spend my day looking at content. Let's go. And I ended up taking the Brandon Sanderson course that's on
Oh
his
yeah.
YouTube and focusing on like the world building stuff. and he kept saying like, only do what you need to do for the story.
No.
And I'm like, oh my God, how do I know what I'll need for the story? What do
That's
you
the thing.
mean?
I always like that concept where you hear about writers who have all this stuff that you never see. I think it makes it richer. I mean, it
It
takes
does. It really
longer,
does.
but
And I
it's
think,
yeah.
I don't know, like I have a world set up that I run my D&D campaigns in
Mm.
and that I write in.
Okay,
So the
cool.
fact that I have my players running around my world is it's an excuse for me to world build more. So
Yeah.
I just know so much about the world. And then also like building the story and like building the stuff that's going on. I think I got lost for like a month solid just in world building when I was doing it, and then I was like, I need to stop and I need to think about like characters or something. Like they have like agency in this world. They have influence. I can't just sit here and look at mountains for days.
Yeah, it's so fun though.
Oh,
And
it's so much fun. Oh,
combining it with D&D is so great. I remember I don't know, I haven't actually read his stuff yet, which I feel terrible about, but you know Steven Erickson? The
yes.
yeah, like his whole world started off with a D&D campaign, and I used to babysit for him actually. And I remember seeing
That's
his
a
like
fun connection.
yeah, he lived in Winnipeg for a while, and I went to school with his son who was like 2 years younger than me, and I would babysit him, and his son hated it because I was not that much older than him, so he was not a good kid to babysit, but
Oh no.
I
Yeah,
got
that's a
to
yikes.
I would see all the like D&D stuff set up in the living room with a like tarp over top of it, and I had no
Oh my God.
idea what he was doing with that, but years later I look back, I'm like that was a pretty cool thing to see.
That's so cool. I didn't know
Yeah.
Steven Erickson was Canadian. Nice.
He's from the UK, but his so I actually I might be getting this entirely wrong because I was younger, but my parents still know him. I think so. He's from the UK. His wife is from Canada, or the other way around. So that's why
Oh,
they
okay.
were in Winnipeg, but they went back to the UK.
What
So
a
they're there
weird
now.
place
Yeah.
to be. You know, every time I meet someone who's from like overseas, like my piano teacher, because it's just a chain of piano teachers. I am a piano teacher and I have a piano
Oh,
teacher.
cool.
But he's from I want to say he's from South America somewhere, and I'm just like, buddy, what are you doing in Winnipeg?
I always wonder that. I just want to know. I don't understand.
And I understand like we have good pricing here, but like also, why would you want to stay here?
But also like, that's not even fully true because I remember when I moved away, I'm coming up on my 8th year in Montreal, which is kind of scary to
Wild.
think of because it doesn't seem like that. But like I remember thinking, oh well, you know, Winnipeg is this, you know, city that's basically a small town. It
Yeah,
has small town mentality, even though it's a
it really
city,
does.
and everything must be more affordable. But then I moved to Montreal and it's catching up now, but rent here, like half the price of Winnipeg,
No
which
way.
I just thought was the craziest thing. I
All
didn't
right.
understand. And now I guess I think it's about the same from what I know,
Mm,
but I was surprised because I thought it would have been like Toronto. But I when I moved here, like my partner at the time, he and I got this place that was like a main floor and a basement, and we had like 6 rooms, and I think we were paying like $1,600, which is
oh my God.
nuts. Yeah, and he was partially running his business there, so that's why we had such a massive space. But I
Yeah.
was very surprised. And you have all the culture and the art and the beautiful old European streets and stuff, and it's cheaper than
Yeah.
Winnipeg. So
Yeah, I think my friends who have a two-bedroom basement apartment, I think it's 1,200. I could be
okay.
wrong. But yeah, like
Yeah.
you'd be so hard pressed to find anything underneath 800 even for a studio apartment here, which
Yeah,
is
it's
not bad, but it's also not great.
no, well, it's Winnipeg, like people should be paid to live in Winnipeg, I think.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that'd be nice.
I'm sorry, you're still there, and I can't help it.
It's fine.
I'm always
That's on us. It's good.
okay.
We're great, but also we suck, so it's
Yeah.
fine.
I mean, I enjoy visiting, and like Winnipeg has a lot of great people. I've always
Hmm.
found like it's not, you know, the coolest city in the whole world, but it's got some cool things and it's
Yeah.
got really good people. So
Yeah. It's
some
fun.
positive things about Winnipeg.
There are
And
some positives, yes.
the legislature is a like a pagan temple, so that's pretty cool.
Yes, we got some real cool history going on with our old buildings in the city, but
Yeah,
you know,
lots of
it's
interesting occult stuff.
winter for 10 months of the year.
Yeah, then gets colder than Mars.
uh I think we've been okay this winter. This winter hasn't been too bad.
That's good. Because
Yeah.
I will have
Had a lot of
friends in
snow though.
Montreal who are like, "Oh, you're not from Montreal? Oh, the winters aren't great." Like, no, no.
No, no, you don't know. You don't understand.
You you don't know winter.
Yeah. And then I think, yeah, every time my friends have gone to Ontario for stuff, like because they've gone to either like Windsor or London or whatever for school, they just get bombarded with questions about like, well, how do you survive? And I'm like,
Yeah.
buddy, it's one province over. It's not that hard. Like you just bundle and do it. Like,
Yeah, you just get through it. You hide out
yeah,
inside and you write a lot. And that's
yeah,
a plus. A lot of that
yeah.
hermiting creates lots of very like lots of inspiration. There's lots of creativity coming out of Winnipeg, tons of
Oh yeah,
artists.
we got a
So,
really good we got a really good art scene, which is really
yeah.
cool. And I know like if you go further east, the winters are worse in a different way because that's where you
There
get the really heavy, wet snow,
yeah, like
and it's just ugh.
we haven't had it really this year, but the first year that I was here, we had one of those like it'll get a bit warm, so it gets wet and then it
Mhm.
freezes right away. So we would have
Ugh,
that, and the
just
streets were
ice.
all ice rinks. It took me, I was walking home from work, which was usually 10 minutes, and it took me 30 minutes to walk home because I was sliding the whole
Yep.
time. So that's not great.
No,
Yeah.
gosh. I got spikes on the bottom of my boots because when I fall far and hard because I'm very tall.
Oh
But
yeah.
I'm just like, listen, I don't want to fall. I've
No.
done that too many times on campus. Just wipe out in front of a crowd of people, and I'm like, I need to stop. I need to not go outside anymore. So I got spikes on my boots now.
You want to hear my most embarrassing weather story?
Let's go.
So a couple of years ago, it was when I before the pandemic, so I was still going to the office, and luckily I work from home entirely now. But I was on this street. It's called DeCarry, and it's one of those like main sort of highways, lots of traffic, wide open, so there's tons of wind. You walk there
Oh,
and it's a totally different temperature going down there from, other streets. You turn onto DeCarry and you're like, so I got off the bus and I started to go into my office, and the way the entryway is set up outside of like where the doors are, it created this weird like wind vortex,
oh
and
no.
it was winter and I fell down. Like the wind knocked me over and I couldn't get up.
No! The
I
universe
actually
says,
couldn't
no,
get
you're done right here. Stop.
so
Just
I'm
sit.
sitting there and I'm like actually struggling and thinking, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I'm like just on my butt on the ground and the wind is keeping me down. And people started walking up to the office and I just had to reach out.
You're like,
And a
please.
guy had to come over and help me up so I could go into the office.
Oh my God. That's the worst. But at least like people know why. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, really? This is
I
just
mean,
this
they
happens
were
to
still
everybody.
laughing though.
Yes. It's very funny to see somebody fall.
And not be able to get up because you
Yeah, as
expect
long
at
as they're like
least
okay and haven't bashed their
yeah.
head or broken an
You
arm.
expect at least okay, but just sitting there glued to the ground, desperately trying to get
I
up.
would have crawled away. Just like, let me just crawl
I
in my shame.
that was my next thing. I was like, okay, so I'm on my butt. I could sort of get over and get like this and go to the door and then pull
Yeah.
myself up on the window, which would have been even worse.
Oh my
Security guys
God.
would have been laughing so much.
The security guys should have helped you. God.
Exactly.
Listen.
That's true. That's true. They should have been running out there.
Oh, yeah.
Chivalry is
I
dead.
remember falling on campus like once or twice really, really hard. And it was one of those falls that people were like, oh my God, are you okay? And just the pure shame of it being like, yeah, no, I'm fine. And like pushing myself off the ground. I'm a
Oh,
really large human being. So it's like when I fall, people are like, whoa.
oh no.
This
It's
whoa.
noticeable.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
dear.
But at least we all know why. It's because it's icy and the ice gets you.
Yes.
Anyways, I love that
Yeah.
we've just ranted about Canadian
I know.
weather.
Oh my God, I should look at the chat. Dreaming
Welcome
Tooth.
to Canada.
Yes, welcome to Canada.
We're
Welcome
talking
to the
about weather.
Canada stream. Enjoy. Dreaming Truth author, first time here. I hope it's okay. Of course it's okay. Welcome. I write better during live sprints. We will sprint again soon. After I
Yeah,
read comments, we just got into a
I'm the same.
tangent.
I'm the same though. I write so much better when there's a timer going and there's other people
Yeah.
around. I don't know what it is. It's so
It's
nice.
helpful. I thought it would be the worst when I first did it. I'm like, this actually really helps.
Hmm.
So you just popped in after another sprint. Yeah, definitely stick around and we'll be sprinting for another hour-ish. Sheraton, one great thing from Winnipeg is you ladies. Aw.
Same.
Thank you.
I was born
And
in Vancouver, but okay. I
so
was
how did
born in
you end up
Vancouver.
in Winnipeg then?
Mom and dad were both born in Manitoba.
Okay.
Mom was born out of the city. Dad was born in the city. And when they met, they ended up moving to Vancouver for about 10 years, and then they
Okay.
adopted me out there, and then eventually made their way back because that's just what happens. You eventually make your way back to Winnipeg.
My friend calls it doomeranging when you go back to Winnipeg.
Oh my God, it's so true. Because like people would leave as kids, they would move to like Calgary or Edmonton or Vancouver or whatever.
Mm,
Within 10 years, they're back. And I'm like, why?
yeah. I find that happens more with the West, but East
Mhm.
we stay more. More of the
Yeah,
people out East tend to stay. So I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
Uh,
It's the prices, maybe.
maybe, yeah, because West is crazy.
Yeah.
Uh, Amy, winter in Oklahoma is basically just a game of snow melt freeze. I hate our winters.
Oh,
Yeah,
I bet.
yeah.
Oklahoma mountainous? I don't think so. Oklahoma. I should know this, Amy. I'm very sorry.
What are you looking up?
It is not mountainous. It is
Oh,
flat. Yes.
doesn't Oklahoma have tornadoes? I feel like, yeah. Okay. That
Yeah,
would I
that's a
always had
prairie.
nightmares about those when I was younger.
That is a prairie state. Oh,
Yeah.
it's right above Texas. That's why. Okay, gotcha. Because I know like the Albertan winters are whack because you could just have like, I mean, any time in Alberta is whack because you can just be like, it's in the middle of June and you have to have your winter gear out because sometimes snow
Oh,
will just.
really?
Yeah, once we went to go visit my mom's friend out there because we used to live in Alberta as well for like a
Okay.
year because we've been everywhere. But mom, we went out and visited, and she was like, "Okay, it's June, but you have to pack both summer and winter gear." And I was like, "Why? It's June. It's like 30 degrees outside, Mom. What's going on?" She's like, "Trust me."
Wow.
And one morning we woke up and we went out tobogganing, and then by the evening we were in shorts having a barbecue outside. So Alberta winters are just, or Alberta weather's just whack because it's off the
Huh.
mountains, right? So
I feel like I'm guessing that Pei is still here, but I imported him from there and he never told me that.
yeah, maybe it was just in the area we were in. I think we were near Calgary, so coming off the mountains, the weather is you can
Yeah,
have
like
like Chinooks every day,
I
kind
would
of.
think like in the mountain areas that would be pretty unpredictable, like Canmore and stuff too.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know about
Oh,
Edmonton,
he is
but
here, kind of.
nice. Oh, I love it.
Okay, we should sprint. Especially seeing someone coming here specifically for a sprint and we're like, Canadian
Oh,
weather.
Canadian weather. Let's talk about it for hours. Yes. Weirdly enough, it does kind of tie in creatively because I did write my story in the Stygian collection because of our freaking winters. So
Yes. Yeah, I
it
have
was
that in my
inspired by
author
true
bio.
events.
I have it in my author bio. If like I'm from a Winnipeg originally, and I attribute much of my creativity to introvert tendencies hiding out in the winter.
Yeah, because oh man, like that you've seen the story. It's I excuse me, I coming home every day when my parents still live out of the city, but going home every day on that one road, it's so terrifying in the winter because when a winter storm hits, that road just gets just awful. It's not as bad now because there's a lot of buildings there now, so it stops the snow. But you get to a certain point and all of a sudden it's just white. And I'm like, oh, good.
Yeah.
Yes, I can no longer see.
And and
So,
black ice. Black ice is
yeah. And it's
lots of accidents from that.
the kind of blizzards that just go completely sideways and then like have just mounds of snow on the road for some reason. I don't know why
Yeah.
that happens because it's straight and there's
Yeah.
no trees. So it
It's
was
just a whole
inspired by
mixed
true
bag
events.
of snow fun.
Yeah.
On that
I love it.
note. I'm gonna start our timer. We're gonna do one more 15-minute.
Hmm.
Then we'll check in and wrap it up with a long half-hour sprint. And that'll be it. So everyone get ready to write. Hopefully we
Woo!
can get a decent word count in. Hopefully no one's parents need to call to
Oh my
prank
God.
them.
I swear to God.
I'm watching my phone. If my mom's watching, she'll probably do it. Okay. All right, let's go. Time's up. Oh, your mic is not yet on yet,
Yep.
Jen. Oh, there.
I was like, that's such an epic ending. Oh my
I
goodness.
know. It's called Colossus, that one.
Oh, very good. Very good.
How'd it go that time?
Much better.
We had some good
Think,
music.
oh, that music is very good. I think, I don't know, how many did I do last time? 100 and something? So we got 300 more? That's
Oh,
less than I
great.
usually can do, but that's fine.
I'm not even going to bother counting because I was mostly reading through blogs. Probably like 50. I think I've got like 300 for the day so far, but it's better than nothing.
How are you
Just
feeling overall with the work, though? You feel like you're getting somewhere?
yeah, I think the thing is with the timeline and needing to figure out what I want to hone in on, I think I'm going to figure that out after sprinting because I need just like a few minutes of just focus on that. Like, okay, what do I want to do? It's one of
Yeah,
the less social aspects, but I know that I'm probably going to figure it out tonight. So that's exciting
that's good. That's good.
because yeah, I'm with the blogs, I'm up to just more recent era. So I'm almost finished going through the blogs and then I'll have all my dates and I can figure out that time and then it's all going to come together.
That works great.
Yeah.
Is the research giving you any inspiration for anything, though?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. There's more things that happened around similar time periods than I thought because when you go through our haunted tours, you sort of go through a location, well, like a neighborhood. It's like, oh, this
Right.
happened here, this happened here, but then you can combine things in various neighborhoods that were actually happening in the same year, and you're like, that's crazy that this was all happening at the same time. Like,
Honestly,
yeah,
whack. The amount of stuff that happens so condensed in history. I mean, like in 30, 40 years when we're looking back at the at 2020, people are going to be like, what do you mean that happened all in 1 year? And we're going to be like, yeah,
yeah.
1 year.
We are definitely in one of those eras where it's picking up like that again.
Yeah.
I feel
Oh,
like
God.
there have been some that are a little bit slower, although that just could be my personal perspective. But like the 90s seemed a lot slower.
Yeah. I think it's
And
because of the lack of leaning on social media, maybe.
yeah, that's true. Because also with social
Maybe.
media, you're bombarded by tons of things all the time
Yeah.
too. So
And
you
you're
see
always
everything
keeping.
that's happening everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's it. It's like when before social media was really a thing, the only news you were getting from around the world was news, right?
yeah, like
So,
the big events and stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
Hello to Megan. Welcome. Amy's already into almost into chapter 5. Oh my gosh.
Jeez, Amy. Holy man. Amy, are you implementing edits from your editor right now? I don't remember if you had those in yet or if you're just editing it yourself.
Also, Sheraton did 180 this time, character
Woo!
development. Awesome.
I love working with characters. It's been a while since
Yeah.
I've like sat down and like worked through character stuff,
Mhm.
but it's so fun.
I'm really excited to get to that point. I usually start with characters because that's sort of like I love world building, but my automatic thing is characters.
Hmm.
I feel like characters and dialogue are kind of my strengths with a lot of things. So I like to start there. And I also always start by making them in The Sims. So I'm gonna be simming a lot this month.
That's actually so smart though, because then you have like a real life, like you have them for their description, for their like what they look like, and you can build their lives in there. That's just really
It
smart.
It helps. I
I love
actually was doing a series in like the first year I started on YouTube that was Sims for Writers, where I was showing people like how I was building their house and how I was setting the characters up and
it.
stuff.
That's so cool.
And
Oh
it
my
was
God.
people liked it, so I might I don't know, go back to that some way, like maybe just
Some way.
clips on
Yeah.
shorts or something like that, because I with my channel I'm trying to switch over to monthly videos other than lives and just doing like longer, more thought out, creative pieces like that. But it could be really good for shorts because it's fun and you can always find little snippets of Sims. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's surprising how much it can be inspiring too, because it's a good
Yes.
visual, but at the same time, there's so much in The Sims 4 with like that influence what they're doing that you can set them up and have them interact in the world, and you'll be watching and you'll actually be going, oh, wait, I want to write that. That's so weird that they did this thing and
Oh
somehow
my
it
God,
works. It's really weird,
that's
but
so cool.
I highly
Oh.
recommend it. It's
I
a
love the way
great.
that inspiration can just strike in any capacity, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm the same with character usually coming first. It's usually like I'll just get hit one day with a like an idea of like, what if this? And I'd be like,
hmm
wait, what if that? Oh my God. And then I spend a week staying up till 3 a.m. building Pinterest boards. And like the story is just like unraveling in my brain. I love it when that happens. But
Yeah, it's the best.
it's so cool whenever I'm like watching something or consuming media or reading a book or doing random research, it's just like, oh, inspiration strikes. I don't know how that works, but I love it.
It's the best part of creativity, I think. There are always those little parts where you just get so energized. Like
Yeah.
when you wrap up a project properly or when you're getting that first inspiration. And
Mhm.
there's so much work in between, but all of those little like lightning bolts, it's
Yeah.
what keeps it going, I think.
Gosh, I would try to think of like I don't know what people who aren't creative do all day. Like what do you do all day? How does your brain work?
I always wonder that.
Oh God. Yeah, I got when I was in the middle of work one day, which is always when things like that happen. It's like in the middle of web analytics, which is the most boring, tedious work ever. I was just like, all right, let's do this. And then I got literally smacked in the face by like inspiration for book 3 in my series, and I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. It's like,
Just
all
like
right.
ignored web analytics for like 30 minutes and I'm like, all right, I gotta write all this brain down. And it was like fully formed idea, just was like, here you go. And I'm like, oh, this never happens. I love it so much. Oh,
hmm
inspiration.
It, it's great because my in my day job I do copywriting. So it's lots of ad speak and stuff, but I'm
Yeah.
working with so many different companies that it's inspiring because I'll be like jumping back and forth between fitness influencers and like people writing blogs about photography, and it just
Oh, that's
exposes you to
cool.
so much. It's really it's really interesting what you'll sort of latch onto and go, oh, ooh, this could be something.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, I'm an editor for like my day job, which is like I would love to be in the fiction editing space. That's like the dream to
Yeah.
work for a publishing house. But currently, I work for a magazine publishing company, which we do magazines for associations across North America. So we have like
Okay.
so many freaking magazines. But
Yeah.
we have everything from like oil industry to construction to school mags, all sorts of things. So it's very analytic
Mhm.
and so whenever I'm just like at work, my creative side of my brain is just like, please pay attention to me. And I'm like, no, I need you to shut up. I need to do analytic stuff. So it's a good separation. But that's when I'm in work is when a lot of the inspiration happens, and I'm like, well, why? Because my
Well,
creative
I
brain is
think
not being
it's
engaged.
because when you start focusing in on something else, you do have that little corner of your brain that's just kind of on autopilot. And
Yeah,
it's harder. Like this is, with writer's block, I used to take long periods of time not writing because of writer's block. But now I just say like there's no such thing if you sit down and do it, because it's when you're focusing and going like, I need inspiration, give me inspiration, you're not
yeah,
going to get anything. You have to
no,
just start doing something or start doing something else. And that's when
yeah,
that weird part of your brain is just gonna kick into gear and be like, here you go,
yeah,
here's something.
yeah. I think I heard once. Oh, who was it that said it? Might have been might have been RK Stumbling Bear here on YouTube. I think maybe her. I'm not sure. But somebody said one day that it was like writing seasons. And I'm like, that makes so much more sense to me because there are certain times of the year where I am so much more creative. And
Mhm.
that's just because my brain needed to stop and be refueled for a bit. And then I'll come
Yeah.
back to it and be like super inspired to like just get everything out. So it's interesting to see kind of writer's block versus I don't think I've ever had a proper day of writer's block. It's just seasons
Yeah,
of writing where like
that's true. It's like an ebb
just
and a
don't feel like
flow.
it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely an ebb and flow. It's like same thing with like reading slumps. Someone asked me the
hmm
other day like how like have you ever been in a reading slump? And I'm like honestly, the only reading slump I've ever been in was when I was a kid. When I finished reading Harry Potter,
Oh,
I was like nothing is going to be as good because I was that kid. And so I didn't read anything for like years because nothing compared.
oh
And
wow.
I was just like and to be clear to all those watching, we don't support turfs in this household anymore. But it's it's you know it's so interesting that like that when I was a kid was when the last like reading slump has happened, and now because I'm such a mood reader, I read so much and so often that I'm just like sometimes I'm just not in the mood to read, and that's fine as long as I don't force myself into it. I've never experienced slumps or anything like that, so it's just like, huh, what a weird place to be.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I'll sit down like I'm gonna read 10 books just right like in the next few hours, and then other
Yep,
times I am a bit slower, but I do try to consistently read. The only
same.
time like I wouldn't even call it a slump, it's more just like I am too busy and
Yeah,
oops, I had to go to bed, that sort of thing.
like
But
oops, I have things to write, and then that
yeah,
takes up my reading time. So,
yeah, like oh, there's writing and oh, there's the real world. Ugh.
mm.
But yeah, if I had it my
Yep.
way, I definitely would be reading all the time.
Mm-hmm. If only that could be a job.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. Well, I mean, if you do get into the fiction editing space, you're reading all the time.
Yeah, that's very true.
Oh, Amy said that she is implementing edits from her editor. Not a ton of work left as far as editing goes, so it's moving fast.
I love that. I love when that
Yeah.
happens. I had a similar thing with a second story when I got the edits back. It was the editor just was like, "Listen, your work is so clean," and I'm like, "Babe, thank you." It's like there's like nothing here for me to do, so it was just like scrolling through a Word doc and catching the occasional thing, and it was
It's
just
always
so
the
fast.
best. Uh, Ian's automatic thing is also character. Awesome. Do you discover the world through them? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good way to work.
yeah,
And Sheraton grabbing the outline from the Nano Prep 101 resource guide. Cliche. No, it's not cliche.
it
It's,
works. It's
it's
there
there
for a
for a
reason.
reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually I use that as a sort of touching point for my whole nano prep series for this past nano, just because I started being an ML and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go through their 101 and take
Mm,
things from that as well as my personal stuff since I want to really represent the organization more. And it's
yeah,
great. Like it's super helpful.
yeah.
Uh
They know what they're doing.
yeah, yeah. And Sheraton adds, I don't know if it happens to you guys, but I tend to read and midway I get inspired and feel the urge to put the book down and start writing before the idea or inspiration goes away. But then I also don't
Happened
want to put the
a
book
few
down.
times. Yeah, that happened a few times for me as well. I think when I moved in 2021, when I moved into this place, it was like I had just finished writing and working on my middle grade at the time that I was working on, and it was just like it was coming to that seasonal depression time of year, and I was going through it mentally, and I was just like, I'm just gonna just stop, like hold, just everything's just come to a grinding halt, and I didn't write for or work on anything really creatively for months. And I was reading Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne, and I was like, just reading it, and I just immediately I was like, oh my God, I need to stop everything and write this down. And it was like this whole scene just like exuded itself onto paper. I was at my mom and dad's because it was around Christmas. And we were leaving to the cottage the next morning, and I was like, "Oh my God!" And I'm just like writing longhand
Oh,
in
that's
a book that
great.
I brought with me, and I was just like, this scene just onto the page, and it's happened very rarely with the inspiration to do that, but I love when it does.
Yes. I'm rereading all of Narnia right now
Oh yeah.
because I'm well, not the project I'm researching at the moment, but my draft that I'm going to be editing is my like larger fantasy epic, and I know that I had inspirations from Narnia back when I started writing it when I was like 13 years old.
Oh, I
So now
love
I'm
that.
rereading it, and it's great because I'm finding things that like lightly inspired stuff that I'd forgotten about, and then other points where I'm like, oh my God, that would just make this so much better, these little elements,
Mm.
and it's been cool. And I was hoping that would happen when I set out to read it again, so having it happen is very rewarding.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think I haven't read all of Narnia. I think I've only read the first two because
Oh,
I find them very just thin and empty because
so
there's like nothing really going on in there, but it was the kind of like there's nothing going on in here. I could write this better and then getting inspiration from that. So,
well, the first one, when I was reading it, I was like, wait, all this stuff is happening way quicker than I remember. Because,
mm,
reading it as a child, it's very different.
Oh
And
yeah.
also having seen, the movie adaptation since and stuff where they make it so much more like dramatic and cinematic, you go back and you're like, oh, all these events suddenly just happen very quickly because it's such a short book. And I was talking to Pay about it, and he's like, well, it's written for kids. Kids
Yeah.
read that differently. I'm like, yeah, I know. But the thing with that series is it gets a lot more complicated and a lot more interesting as you go. So you can
Yeah.
see the author really building up. So I'm on the second last one, I think, and it's gone completely away from the first group of siblings. It's in Narnia with this whole other world, and there's like a lot more world building and character
Okay.
depth and stuff. And it's pretty cool. So I
Yeah.
I I still like it. I would say that I mean, I adored it when I was a kid, and I would say that it really stands up as a younger reader series that you can still enjoy as an adult, and especially with that evolution with the books. It's good.
Yeah, it's always nice to see when you go back to old stuff that you enjoyed as a kid, if it stands up or not.
Yeah,
My friends
yeah,
are currently
because
rereading The Hunger Games right now,
oh
and they're all
yeah.
just like yelling about it. I'm like, yeah, no, it stands up. It's great. It's
I never actually read that series. It's on my
oh,
list. I have to. I
it's great.
just like missed it narrowly when it was popular and I wasn't quite
Mhm.
in the age group.
Yeah,
And I was reading other things, but I want to go back and read it. I want to give it a shot
I
because I
think
hear good things.
I remember. Oh, what was it? Back, you remember like Scholastic book fairs in
Oh,
school? Do they
oh,
still do those? I don't know,
I
but
don't know. I
Scholastic book
hope
fair,
so. They were the best thing.
so good. I remember finding The Hunger Games on one of the tables there, and it was just like it was so intriguing to me because that cover. Oh, can I reach it? Yes, I can. Long arms. It looks so cool, right? It has
Yeah,
like mature read and it's like all this drama, and I was like, I'm gonna get it, and I remember getting it and never really reading it until my friend in high school was talking about Catching Fire, I think, because the movie was coming out or something.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, I should really read these. And then I devoured this in like 2 days. And it was one of those things where, when you're reading a book and you read the first one and it's just instant, just like, I need all of them right now. And when you
Yeah.
finish this one, it's like midnight and you're like, why is it midnight? I need to go get the second one. It was one of those. And I haven't had that in a really long time. But yeah, these hold up. They're very good. Highly recommend.
Okay. I'll definitely get to them.
Yeah.
Oh,
Scholastic book fairs. Oh, what a time.
just I loved it so much.
I wish we had that as adults. Like someone
Yeah.
needs to set up a Scholastic Book Fair for
So
adults.
well, with all the throwback stuff that's happening
Yes.
now, I feel like that would be a great move for Scholastic. They should just
Oh, it would
set them
be.
up in a bunch of different cities and anyone could go.
Oh,
I would
I
be
would
there
spend
the whole
so
day.
much money. I would
Yes.
spend so much money. Oh my God.
Oh, hello to Mr. Morningstar. He says, "Does this camp include ghost stories around the campfire?"
Yes.
Not so far, but that's actually a really good idea. That could be a fun thing to do some Saturday. Ghost stories
Would be
between
cool.
sprints.
Yeah.
I like that. Maybe I'll do that.
Ooh.
And Megan, as a writer who wants to put a book down, many other writers can be quite an inspiration for others. Well, sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, if they can inspire you in a positive way, and sometimes they can inspire you in a negative way so as not to do what they're doing. So either way, it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Or you're reading something and you're like, this is so bad. I could do this better. And you're like
Yeah.
rage reading it. Happened to me before.
I used to do that when I was doing a lot of like my main sort of creative outlet used to be visual art, drawing a lot. So I would do a lot of like posting on DeviantArt and stuff. And I was always finding these character pieces that were terribly drawn, but I loved all the elements and I was always redrawing people's stuff. I'm like,
I
should I
love that.
post it or is that going to be insulting?
I don't know because I always like to say that like imitation is like the greatest form of flattery, but like what line is it when it's like plagiarism?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's
You
that
either have to
line?
say like, I liked your concept. Here's my take on it. You can't say your
You're
drawing
bad.
sucks. Here,
Mine's better.
fix it.
Yeah, it's like
Then
I've
that's not a
seen a
good
lot of
angle.
creators do like the draw this in your style kind of
Yeah, I do
thing.
like that. I like that.
Yeah,
That's
which is so
something I
fun.
would have hopped on board with for sure when I was really posting a lot of art because
Yeah.
it's fun.
Gosh, I wish I was better at digital art. I like my friend who's doing the cover for A Second Story is just so good. Every time she gives me updates, I'm like, Tessa, how? Like, how are you so good at this? Oh, it's so nice.
It's like me with our illustrator for the Stygian collection. When I saw her
Mm.
stuff, I'm like, oh, this is so perfect. There's no way she's gonna work
Oh,
with us, and she is. I'm like, yes.
I love when things line up like that. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's great. I do a bit of digital stuff, but I usually do painting, and I actually have I
Mm.
have them right here just because I was doing painting at work. So
Oh
I do
my
portraits.
God. That's so cool.
Was one of my recent ones that turned out good, I think.
Good, I think. Yes, it's good. That's very
Yes.
cool. Oh my
I'm trying
goodness.
to paint more. I'm trying to
Yeah.
because I usually do like pen and ink stuff, but paint I need to get better at.
Gosh, I used to be in art in high school, and it was just my favorite course because
Hmm.
I don't know, there's something so nice about shutting your brain off and just creating
Hmm.
like physically like that instead of, it's a different creation than writing words down, but it's in the same vein, right? Because you're creating something, you're doing this whole scene setting in a different kind of way, working with a
Hmm.
different medium. It's so fun. It's been
Yeah,
so long.
it's great.
Ugh,
It's very meditative.
yes, agreed.
Um, oh, more comment. Billy Bandit, hello, welcome. 5 minutes behind in the stream. That's fine. Sheraton, you could grab the drawing, mention that it's your inspiration, and then you do your version. A lot of artists do it. Just make sure the original artist is okay with showing their art.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Luckily, I don't delve in that area anymore anyway. But I just remember being a little like angsty anime teenager, being like, I could do this.
I can do it so much better.
And Ian said that I'm good. Thank you. That's very nice. Oh, and our editor just popped in. She says, look at all the Stygian people here. Hello,
Yeah,
Pamela.
there's a little group of us.
And Morningstar, your Stygian illustrator, is so amazing. Great job finding them. She was actually, it's great because she lives here. So we've been able to meet in person, which is
Oh, that's
just
so nice.
great, great to do. And she got referred to us by a mutual friend. So if Rachel ever stops by the stream, shout out to Rachel for connecting
I love
us.
it.
And
I
Rachel's
love
an
it.
amazing alternative fashion designer. Lots of creativity here.
Yeah.
Marilyn Manson, way cool painting, completed on canvas. Yeah, it's I use these here. These canvas sheets, which were a game changer for me because so like it's floppy, but it's canvas.
Oh, that's so
Um
cool.
so I've just been using these because I'm not as good at like actually having a canvas set up. I'm trying to fix that. But these have given me like a gap where I can feel like I'm working on a sketch pad, but it's a canvas. So
And it's just a little bit more sturdy than working on like paper.
exactly. And I like it. And I think they're gonna be okay when they're gonna look good when I frame them too. So
Mhm.
glad to see that Stygian Anthology is bringing us together. Yes, that was the goal.
Yeah.
So it makes me happy. Okay, so we're at 4, but I still want to do another sprint.
Heck yeah.
But maybe another short one just because I do have some other things I want to get at, mainly Stygian emails. So
I'll get that admin going.
yeah, yeah. So I know I said half an hour, but I think we'll do a 15-minute
That works for
and
me.
then wrap it up and get some words in. And I'll just say if anyone heads out before we're done, definitely join my Discord because we're sprinting on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well. So that way you can get some more sprints in, some more productivity.
Heck yeah.
And if you've not yet supported the Kickstarter for the Stygian collection, lots of
Woo!
amazing authors. You can see them all in the chat here. I pinned
Yes.
a little comment with the link so you can see the link. And honestly, every dollar counts
Hmm.
because I mean, first of all, any support we appreciate it immensely. It doesn't, matter if you have tons of money to put into it, but also tiny like little amounts in great quantity help boost Kickstarters in the algorithm. So you
Yeah.
are helping in a big way. So
I think I
so if
need to do the Kickstarter for my parents because they have no idea what that is.
oh yeah,
I'll have to buy them one myself.
just walk through it.
Yeah. when I see them next, I'll be like, okay, listen, this is what's going on. Do you want to support this, Mom? Please.
Awesome.
For your
We
April
still have,
Fool's joke,
I
you
think,
must.
I think we have like 43 days left still. So there's still time and
Yeah.
we're doing well. So as long as we there's
I
plenty of
keep
time. So if you can't
there's
today,
so
you can later.
yeah, there's so much going on that I just keep forgetting. And every time you
Oh,
like
I know.
share a post where people are sharing it, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta do that still. Uh,
Well, thank you for sharing when you're able to. It's
yes, I
very
have
helpful.
plans in my content schedule. I have plans.
We have 40 days.
We got time.
42 days. We're good. We're
Ages.
good. Okay. All right. Let's do our final sprint. Hopefully we can get some
Woo.
good words in. Maybe I'll finish my timeline. That's what I'm going to try to do. That would be very
Fingers
good.
crossed.
Yeah. And then I can get to all my other stuff later. Okay. So writer's ready. Let's start.
Woo.
Time's
My
up.
goodness, they went so quickly.
Yeah, no sugar plum fairy dance. I just heard that starting up. Like, and we're done.
Tchaikovsky, what a guy.
So how was that last one?
Pretty good, pretty good. I'm
Yeah,
sitting at about 843 words for the day, which
great.
is not usually my usual amount, but it's better than I had.
Well, that's good. I think I'm at about 500, so like half of what I want to do. But I finished the timeline, so
Woo!
I can really get to
You
it
can actually
after
get
I
into
take a
this
break.
nitty gritty of it.
Yes, so excited.
Oh, I love it.
Um, had Anya had started by, and we'll do a full stop by, and we'll do a full rewatch tomorrow, and use the sprints to approve edits on short story. Yeah, I'll warn you ahead of time. There's a lot of talk, a lot of talk about
About
Canadian weather,
weather.
but I think it's entertaining. So,
Yes. You learn a
uh,
little bit about what it's like to be Canadian.
yes, Sheridan got 140. Awesome, congrats. I hope that everyone who is writing had a decent session to start off camp here.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, it's nice. And I'm seeing
Gosh,
a
it
lot of
has.
sun coming through the window now. So it's definitely spring energy outside. And I'm gonna just like burst out there any moment now.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's blue skies here, but it's definitely bright. There's blue
Hmm.
skies earlier, but
See,
it looks
that's always
out there.
tough in Manitoba because bright often means cold.
Yeah, what is it right now? It's 0, so it's not that
Okay,
bad.
okay.
I have my door open and it's not cold in here yet, so
All right. Getting there.
yes. That's why it's so bright in my glasses over there. You can see my window.
Oh yeah. I've just got a ring light here. I always have to close the curtains on the window because it messes with my lighting. So a lot of the time I can't tell what it's like, but when the sun is actually like lasering through the curtains, I know it's bright.
Yes. I
Yeah.
don't get sun in my place during the winter, and I only get it around like 4 or 5 in summer because I'm at a weird angle.
Okay, yeah.
But which is fine because it keeps it cooler in here, which is great
Yes.
because I don't like the heat. But it's
Same.
when when it's bright, my windows are just like, hello.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Uh,
nice to have brightness.
yeah, Sheraton is also looking forward to going out. Yeah, it's gonna be nice. And at least the when I was doing sprints like a couple months back, it would be dark by now. And I'd be like,
Oh
oh,
yeah,
so at least now I have some hours of daylight.
light
Yeah.
until after 8 now. What a nice change.
Yeah. Okay, well, I will let everyone get back to the rest of their Saturday. And
Mhm.
thank you so much, Jen, for joining. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you
And
for having me.
yeah, of
This has been
course.
great.
I hope you will come back again because
I'd love
I
to.
awesome. I think you're a great sprint buddy. So
Oh, thanks. I love it. I
uh,
love sprinting. It's so fun.
yeah, I haven't done it in a bit other than just on Discord, so it's nice to get back into the spring of things here.
Yeah. And I usually sprint every Saturday anyways, so it's
Okay,
nice to pop in on other people's sprints
cool.
sometimes.
All right. And for everyone who joined us, thank you so much. It's been nice to have you here. Uh,
Yes.
Go and subscribe to Jen if you haven't already. You
Yes. And
must.
my book, A Second Story, is coming out May 11th. It's a cozy fantasy. It's sweet. It's lovely. It's gay. You love it.
All the good things.
Yes.
So be sure to follow that progress, and I'll probably when you make a post about it in May, I'll share it for sure too.
Thank you.
So you're welcome. Okay, so everyone enjoy the rest of your day. Support Stygian if you can. Follow, join the
Yes.
Discord for sprints during the week. And Jen, I'll also say a double bye now because Zoom always just cuts us off. So it's gonna, go
Okay.
completely off when I end the meeting. So thank you, thank you.
Sounds good.
And with that, I hope that everyone is having a day that is just as wonderful as they are.